Hello, my name's Robert Shaver, and this is my YouTube channel called Spark to Flame, where I'm going to bring ideas, inspiration, and insights to your relationship that will hopefully do just that, be sparks that can be turned into flames. Valentine's Day is just a couple of weeks away, and I thought it would be a great time to get started. And one of the most challenging things that can happen in a relationship is giving and receiving gifts. And so a lot of people really find a hard time when you want to find that perfect something for someone. What can you get them? So the first way that I'm going to help you out is just simply with that reminder. As long as you're watching this video in the next 24 to 48 hours, you're going to have about 10 days to find a gift and get a gift if you haven't already. But even though pandemic has slowed a lot of us down, we still live in busy town USA, right? And we're always finding things to keep us busy and to keep our mind occupied. And for a lot of us, that is the biggest killer of giving a good gift, is that we run out of time, right? We think about it or we don't think about it, and then the next thing we know, it's February 12th or 13th or 14th, and we don't have anything yet. The good news is that you don't have to have a great memory, and you don't have to be really organized to be a good gift giver. You do have to pay attention, though. Pay attention to your spouse, and pay attention right now, because I'm going to give you a couple of great tips for this Valentine's Day to make it really a special one. Now, the ideas I'm about to present to you have less to do with specific gifts and more to do with the way that we think about gift giving. And so hopefully what we can do is change the way we think about the whole process, and then that's going to help us be better gift givers. So here we go. Here's tip number one. Tip number one is to think emotionally before you think practically. So before you narrow your focus down to, oh, I'm going to get those flowers, or we'll go to this restaurant, I want you to think about, how do you want to make your spouse feel? Right? Just stop for a moment and even visualize that. When you think of them receiving a gift and really, really appreciating it, what is their reaction? How are they feeling about that? And that is the feeling that you want to evoke. Now you can start there, and then that can lead you into the next step of finding what your gift is going to be. And that leads us right into my tip number two, which is, before you think specifically, think categorically. All right, so we're not thinking practically first, we're thinking emotionally, and then that's going to lead us into thinking categorically. Many of you have heard about a book that speaks about different love languages. Well, that's actually a great framework here for us thinking about the categories for gift giving. Think about these different things. What does your spouse most want? Do they want to hear words that are affirming your love? Do they want a gift that they can open? Do they want some kind of physical touch? Do they really just want to spend quality time with just you? Or would they love it if some kind of service was done for them, some kind of project that they've been looking forward to could finally get accomplished? So just to recap, tips 1 and 2 are a lot about just reframing the way that we're thinking about how we're going to give gifts. Tip number 3 is the same thing. What I want you to do is make a list. Make a list that's much longer than the one that you'll need, or at least much longer than the amount of things that you will actually get or do for your partner. See, I use this in a lot of counseling situations. For whatever reasons, our minds betray us. When we think about trying to get that perfect gift, we narrow down, and then a lot of the good ideas that we have in our brains, we just discount immediately. And so if you get a piece of paper out and force yourself to write 25 or 30 gift ideas, then you're going to come up with some really good ideas. Or you might not even come up with the idea there, but when you read through your list, one thing's going to lead to another, and that's going to lead to another, and that's going to be the perfect gift that you wanted to get the whole time. It's kind of like a brainstorming exercise that you can do for yourself. When we try to just think of that one thing, it's so hard to figure it out. But if you say, I'm going to think of 30 things or 50 things that I could do, then you're going to have a great list to go off of. I've got one more tip, but first I want to tell you about a couple of things. I want to just keep making videos that help you in your marriage relationship. I love marriage. I love the institution of marriage. I believe that it's one of God's greatest gifts to mankind, and it kills me how poorly marriages in the United States are doing right now. And especially in pandemic with all the stress that's going on, even when people might normally be reaching out, they're having a hard time. So what better time than now to start this as an effort to just give you tips and ideas and some things to think about that could hopefully help you in your relationship. So I'm going to keep making videos on this channel, Spark to Flame, but I've also got a Kickstarter project about to launch, which will be a series of videos, about 12 or 13 videos, 5 to 10 minutes long, that will act like a virtual counselor. And so this will be suited for any couple that is either really having some issues or is doing pretty well and just, wants to do something fun together to enrich or enhance their marriage. There's just a lot of options that are out there that we don't really take advantage of. I mean, when's the last time that you grabbed a book and said, hey, let's read this book together? That happens. People aren't really going to see counselors unless things get really bad. And especially right now, there's not a lot of marriage conferences or things like that going on. And so I'm really excited about this project. So stay tuned to this channel, subscribe to this channel. Like this video, like future videos, and stay tuned to see when that Kickstarter project is going to launch, because hopefully in the beginning of June, those will be ready to go. And I'm just really excited. That's going to be a great, great project for you and your friends. So here we go into tip number 4, 2021 Valentine's Day gift giving guide from Spark to Flame. This might not blow your mind. It's very simple. The best thing to give a really good gift to your spouse is to simply just ask them what they want, right? Another way that our minds can trick us is that we think that the best gifts are the ones that are surprises, right? We think if I want this gift to be really good, it's got to be clever, it's got to be out of the box, it's got to be something that they wouldn't even think of, right? Something that they need that they don't even know they need, something that they want that they don't even know they want it. And you know what? I've received some of those gifts that are just amazing. Like, I didn't really think about it, or maybe I was dropping little hints about it, and I got that gift and I was like, wow, they were really listening, they were really paying attention. But you know what? It doesn't take anything away from the value of a gift if I say something like, you know what I really want? I really just want a back rub. And then on Valentine's Day, I get a back rub. Like, I'm a happy man, But sometimes we hear that and we're like, oh, I can't do that for him. I've got to do something else. And then the day ends and I didn't get the thing I said I really wanted, and I'm disappointed. And so the easiest thing to do is just say, what do you want? And then give them that thing. Now, you might have somebody that you ask that question to and they say something like, I don't know, or you don't have to get me anything. And sometimes we answer those questions ourselves like that. And so if that happens, well, I've got great news for you. You've got tip number 3 to go to. So tip number 4, you could add with tip number 3 and you say, okay, you don't really know what you want. Let's make a list. Why don't you make a list of 20 things that you want? And now you've got ideas for Valentine's Day and their birthday and the next holidays that are coming up, all things that they might be interested in receiving. And so tip number 4 is simply to ask them. So think emotionally before you think practically. Think categorically before you get specific. And then make a big list. Make a list longer than what you really need. And when all else fails, or maybe it should just be your starting point, just ask your spouse what it is that they would like for Valentine's Day. Thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and may your sparks turn to flames.